Hi, I'm Aaron De La Cerda. I'm the Deputy Director at Acta Non Verba Youth Urban Farm Project. I've been working with them for 6 beautiful years now. And we received this beautiful donation of a vertical farm stand. And we steward 3 different farms out here in Oakland, 2 in East Oakland, 1 in West Oakland. And in that, we've had all kinds of different ways of farming. But this one we wanted to share with our good friends here at HHREC. And the work they do with Tay, we want to encourage, the green thumb in everybody, And so, we're going to be assembling this growing tower. It's going to be a little outdoor vertical hydroponic tower system. That's a lot of words there, but we'll talk about it as we put it together. So this is going to be like our reservoir. It's what's going to hold all of the water. In our nutrient solution, we'll have a pump in there. This is going to be plugged in, so we're going to relocate it a little closer to some electricity for its final resting place where it's going to grow. So it comes with 4 of these sections here, and they're really cool. They're interlocking, and we're just going to go ahead and drop them in there. I just rotate it till it falls in, and there's little signs right here. It tells you it's unlocked. I turn it to the locked position. Now that one's not going anywhere. We're going to go ahead and repeat that process. Just find where it wants to sink in. There. And now it's locked. I can give it a tug and make sure it's in place. There you go. All right, so now everything seems like it's nice and snug. And now you need a way to deliver the water from the reservoir down here up to the top of the tower, and so it can water all the roots. And that's where our PVC comes in. I have a little coupler here. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the end there. And everything's plastic and PVC, so it's not gonna degrade or leach out into the water. So what we'll do with this is we'll go ahead and direct this straight down the middle. All right, let's make sure we're going all the way down. All right. There we go. And then here I have the pump and a little coupler. So this is what allows it to connect to our PVC. So this just screws right into the pump. All right, and then I'll put the other end of the PVC right in there. So go ahead and lift that back up. So I'm not sure if you can see in there, but now the PVC is hooked to the pump. We're gonna lower it to the bottom. There we go. And it has little suction cups on the bottom of the pump, so that way it's kind of gonna keep it in place. Go ahead and give it a little push to make sure it stays. And then it has this neat little cord holder right here, so that way it's not dangling every which way. I'll get that out the way. All right. So next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start putting our plants into the tower. Oh, before I do that, let me put the lid on. It's the final piece. It has the same little indicator to show you when it's opened or closed. So it's not going nowhere. Thing seems pretty darn sturdy. All right, now we're gonna get our box of trinkets here. And so what we have here are these little net cups. And these are what's gonna be holding the plant. So now typically, the way you would use these hydro systems is you would have either rock wool or cocoa coir, which are both kind of neutral growing substrates. Fancy words for saying like soil alternative. Because soil, if we put soil in the system, it can clog up the pump after a while. And with soil, you have a higher chance in this type of system with, like different bacteria or something growing in it that's gonna just gonna harm the health of the plants. So for this, we are starting off with plants grown in soil, but they all take very well to a hydroponic system. So I'll show you, we have some lettuces here, and you can see I've already removed the soil from these. These were grown in soil, they're little starts. So we have this little lettuce, it's a beautiful little spotted one. So all I've done is I took it out of the 6-pack here. I can show you. It looked like this. Just massage the roots in some water. Shed the soil best I can. A little bit's not going to hurt it. And it's as simple as placing it right in the pot, making sure it's nice and firm down there. Now, if I can get the roots to come out of the pot, that's even better, because that's going to make sure they're reaching for moisture. Over time, they'll do it on their own, but I want to give it a good head start. See? And that's also going to keep it in place. So now I can even turn it upside down. It's not going nowhere. So that's what's holding the plant in place. So now all we do is we put these pots into the little receptacles here. You see them? They're all over the place. I think this one has, let's see, do some math real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 times 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's got 28 of them. That's a good amount. You can grow almost all of this. We're going to mix and match. So yeah, we'll go ahead and continue. We'll keep filling this thing up, and then yeah, we'll see how it looks. So that was the lettuce. This here is some kale. So it is really hanging on this one. It's a small plant.
So you just set it in the cup.
I'm gonna go ahead and set it in the cup.
And then have the roots hang out the bottom, or?
Yep. The farther the roots hang out, the better, because that means it's gonna be reaching for the water more. It'll get more water access.
Okay.
But I believe the way this system is set up. So let's see if I can take that off so I can show you. So this tube is what's going to be connected to the pump. So that pump down in the reservoir is going to shoot the water up. It's going to hit the top of this lid inside and then just kind of go. It's going to run down. The way they designed this is so the water runs down on the inside along this curve. And so that way it's kind of really going back and forth. It's aerating the water as well as distributing it really evenly. So all the roots that are hanging get some. And even if the roots weren't hit directly by the water, it's such a humid environment that it's going to soak up a lot of moisture.
Okay.
So even when the roots aren't long enough to reach, they're still going to get plenty of water. It's going to be plenty moist in there. Yeah, when we take dirt out of the equation, we do, the plant's a little more efficient with how it uptakes certain nutrients, and we're going to get into the nutrients at the very end. But yeah, I mean, you can even do something fun like make your own compost tea, so you can, if you have a little compost pile going for the office, add your brown ingredients, your green ingredients. That's a whole nother workshop we can do. And yeah, you take it and just like it sounds, you make tea out of the compost. And so what I have is a really big, it looks like a giant tea bag, like the size of a box. And we fill it up with compost, let it steep for about a day and a half. And you remove the tea bag. And then you have compost tea. It's like tea for plants. They're gonna love it. You can spray it on them. It gets the bugs away. You can put it in the reservoir. It'll feed the plant. It protects the plant. Does all the things. So compost tea is wonderful. So we'll definitely have to have another one where we do some composting. So what we'll do is we're just gonna be taking these, and you can pull a plant. And what I like to tell the kids is, so when a plant is growing like this and its roots are all wound up in its pot.
I've seen this before.
So this is called being root bound, when they've begun to wrap in on themselves. Left to its own devices in this container, there'll be almost no soil left. It'll be all root and it'll die off. So what we call it is tickling the roots. So very gently, we're just kind of like, it's just like tickling kind of. We're just massaging them, opening it up. Once it starts opening up, we can put it in the water. And then it really starts to open up. So we're just releasing a lot of that soil from the roots.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel the soil releasing from the roots.
All right, see, and then easy as that. Now we got a plant ready for a hydroponic system.
Right.
So I'm gonna go ahead and
Still washing mine a little bit.
I'm gonna go ahead and help those roots by pulling them through very gently. So now it looks right at home there. So
I want to I'm trying to be very gentle. Is this enough?
yeah, that looks good. You go ahead and grab a pot, and then I'll put it in here. Let's see. We'll try some cilantro. So that would be done so far.
Out.
You go ahead and pull them out a little bit.
Okay.
So now it's in there nice and Steady, yeah. And then we'll go ahead and pop that right in. So we got a nice little, this is called a little gem. It's a romaine lettuce. So,
Let's do some cilantro.
all right, yeah. I love cilantro. And I always get it mixed up because there's various forms of water, of soil this grows. There's aquaponics, hydroponics, aeroponics.
So we're really doing hydroponic?
I
this
guess
really
technically it would be aero because the water is, hydroponics tends to be when the roots, let's say we put this and it grew like this in some water. And then we just aerate the water directly. That's hydroponics. And so it's the plant grows in water as the medium, but because it's aerated constantly,
This is air.
it gets the oxygen, it gets the moisture. We put nutrients in the water.
Yeah.
That's hydroponic.
Okay.
And then this is a variation of a hydroponic system, aeroponics, where
Aeroponics.
the roots are sprayed with water opposed to like sitting in the water constantly.
Yeah.
Later on, we'll introduce the timer, and so that'll help our
Got another
plants.
plant.
All right.
It's really bulky roots there.
Yeah, they're looking healthy, so this is a good sign. And now, again, like once you get the hang of it, and we got the appropriate cocoa coir or the grow pellets, we can start trying things like strawberries, and that's when it gets real exciting because 28 strawberry plants. That's quite a few strawberries.
Yeah.
All right. So now we'll go ahead and move on to filling it up, and we'll go over the feeding.
So I should grab a hose and fill this up water.
Yep, if you want to go ahead and grab that hose. And then something I did beforehand just to speed it up, and also I wasn't sure where I would be able to dump water, is at my office I went ahead and filled this up, rinsed it out. And so if you're ever to get one of these new, you definitely want to run it. Run it. It's called like a dry run. So yeah, without any plants, ran it for a bit, make sure everything was working, cleaned it out, and then brought it over. I guess Christensen goes and helps me with that. So you have a timer here too. This is going to be key. This is what allows you to be really hands off with the maintenance of it. And so I went ahead and did you the favor. I set the timer because it has all these teeny little pins that you gotta. A pin going out is on, a pin in towards the center is off. The white part is daytime, the gray part is nighttime. And so the way I've set your timer here is it's gonna be 15 minutes off, 15 minutes on. And it's just gonna repeat that from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
15 minutes off, 15 minutes on.
Yep, so it's already set. And the way I determine that is I set that according to pretty much like the time of year, the temperature. If we were in midsummer and we're running this system, I would probably have it more like 30 or 45 minutes on, depending on the temperature. If it hits like 90 degrees, like we had a few of those days, I would definitely have it on longer, 15 minutes off, and then a 90-minute period on.
Connected to the pump that's inside that.
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead, this is our pump.
That's where that's connected.
We'll plug this into here. And so now it's gonna control the on, this is the on-off switch now. So now we just plug this in and we can leave it, and the pump will automatically turn on and turn off. So
And we know we have water in there because Christensen is filling it up. So when is the next time we put water in?
Great question. No, I'm glad you asked because it's a perfect segue. So I would say for the first, few days, keep an eye on it. I don't expect that it's going to get too hot out here. We'll have some evaporation is going to happen. The leaves are going to take up a lot of that water as they grow, especially at such a young stage. So first couple days, I would just check it, and we're going to fill it to about the bottom of this here. So just below the bottom of this opening.
Okay.
So about this level. That's where we're going to fill it to.
So that's where you peek inside.
So you'll peek inside and make sure that if you see it way down here, go ahead and fill it back up. Now the pump is way down here, so if you do have a long weekend or you're not here, you got a lot of forgiveness. It's not going to just go dry all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But you just want to make sure to double check it. But after to answer the question more specifically, after the system's been running and after the first week or so, you really only have to check it about once a week. Just peek in there, make sure to top off the water.
Check it once a week.
And then we'll get into feeding real soon. Oh, the last thing in the evening. It's even going to be running in the evening as well because there's going to be a lot of the water is going to be evaporating due to the wind, and even though it's not hot, wind takes a lot of moisture out of plants, and so it's even going to be on in the evenings or at night. But it's going to go. I believe I have it for 2 hours off, 15 minutes on, 2 hours off throughout the night. So it's feeding very lightly, but it's still going to be kicking on in overnight. But it's not nearly as often as during the day. So yeah, the timer's set. You don't really got to worry about that until maybe when we get to summer, we'll take another look at it.
A little bit.
Yeah. So let's see. Go ahead and see. All right, we can continue to let that fill. So now, yeah, I manually turned it on for now, and we can hear the water running, and we can even see the water falling through the net pots. So I can even pop one out so we can. So yeah, we can see the water coming down onto the roots. It's kind of relaxing. It's like a little listening to a waterfall. Yeah, so we can see the water coming in. So we know it's working. Okay. And one thing to be mindful of is not removing the lid while it's on, because it will just squirt water. Yeah, it'll spray water.
Do not remove lid.
Yeah, because instead of having a nozzle, it's just a straight pipe, and it uses the lid as a way to spray the water. All right. So what we have here is our pH test kit. Now, the water here in Oakland is pretty good, in places, right? You know, but just to be sure. We are using city water, so we're not going to have like crazy levels of like heavy metals and stuff, but we're still going to check the pH because plants are a little particular, especially when they're out of soil. They're going to want a pH of around 6.5-ish. Oh, and I noticed on the bottle, they make it easy for you. They highlight the area. So and it's going to be color coordinated. So we're aiming for 6 to 5.5. I stand corrected. I would normally make my soil 6.5, but I guess the system, they're recommending 6 to 5.5. Oh. So yeah, this is how we're going to be able to tell what our pH is. So we'll take a sample. You want to go ahead and fill that to 5? So a little halfway mark there.
Is that 5?
Yeah, we only need about half. Go ahead and move this out of the way. Thank you. Let's see. So now what I do need to read directions for is how many drops. Usually it's just 5 drops is what they recommend. All right, so I'll go ahead and put 5 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there we go. That 5th drop kind of lingered. And so we'll see. We'll check the pH. Looking really acidic right now. And then we have to adjust it. So we'll give it a second. So I got a little lighter, but our pH is still really base. And so what we're going to do is you can just simply look at that and match it up. So it's actually really base. 8.5 is what we're at right now. Okay. So we need it. No, so we want to aim for, we should be looking for a yellow to slightly orange. That tells us the pH is going to be slightly acidic, 6 to 5.5. And so what we do for that, we have the tools. So pH down. Make sure I don't. And so what this is going to do, just like the name indicates, we're going to mix this into the tank. We'll let it run for a few minutes and then check the pH again. But this is going to drop the pH. Make sure it's
The whole thing in there?
Oh, definitely no. So I'm about to take about, let's see. Oh, it says half a scoop. So we'll do probably do a whole scoop at a time since the pH is like a few points off.
Oh, okay.
So this is and I think it's important to remember that this little one is for your pH up, your pH down. I want to make sure this one goes with this. So the little scoop, this is the tablespoon, goes with the pH down. Reason being, if you put a scoop of that, that's going to be twice as much. Yeah, we don't want to jump, so we don't want to make such big jumps. I'm going to do just little by little. We don't want to overshoot. So I'm going to go ahead and just dump it right in there. It's going to mix around since the pump is on. We'll give that a few minutes, and then we're going to check the pH one more time. We're just gonna go ahead and leave. We're gonna leave it right there. We're good with the pH down. I think that was a perfect amount I put, because now we're right in this range. The color to me looks like a mix between the two, which is perfect. With our like 5.75, we just like really hit the mark on that. So
Definitely not blue.
yeah. And so I would recommend that. Let's see, today is Friday, so maybe on Monday, just do that same thing. Fill it halfway, 5 drops. Check it.
Yeah.
If it's anything above this, if it's green or blue, any hues, a half a scoop of this.
Smallest scoop.
Real small, just a little at a time. Let it run for a few minutes like we did. Check it one more time. Because it's new, and we do have a little bit of soil in the system. It might, pH might adjust a little bit. I don't expect it to be like a huge difference, but it's good it's good practice.
If we showed up and tested and it was like closer to red.
So close to red, that means it's super acidic. The plants probably aren't going to like that.
Mm-hmm.
The chances of that are very low, very, very low, unless something like gets in there, like but even insects wouldn't really peak the pH. It would raise a lot of questions if that happened.
Yeah.
So I would definitely come back and troubleshoot with you. And so a lot of plant foods these days are coming out. There's 2 parts, A, and to make it easy, A and B. So part A, so these 3 numbers, there's macro and micronutrients that plants need, just like there's main nutrients that our bodies need. So this represents nitrogen. P is what? That's potassium, and K is potassium. P is phosphorus. Any chemists here? Yeah. And correct me on that. All right, somebody send me a message and correct that. But NPK, so that's going to tell your nitrogen, your phosphorus, and your potassium levels. Those are the macronutrients that plants need to grow. And then there's micronutrients, which I don't remember all of them, but I think they're like magnesium. Hopefully it says here, so I can tell you. It does not. But the micronutrients, so it's kind of just like part A and part B of their diet. So they're going to need just to make sure they're healthy. And so we're going to use, let's see, they recommend 1 tablespoon. That sounds about right. I'm actually going to go light on the tablespoons, just because coming from the nursery, in the soil that they were just in, you'll see some little like different colored pellets. That's usually a fertilizer. Organic or not, we don't want to add too much fertilizer to the plants. You can actually burn their roots with too much fertilizer. So we'll take it easy on the feeding. So this is also a powder. So this is 1 tablespoon. I'm actually going to go half. So we got half a tablespoon. This is our part A. And we're going to go ahead and just stick it right in there. Let that dry off before I put it back in there. And then our part B. So the plants already have a good size. Not to add too many more steps for you, but you'll notice the numbers on these are different. So the different nutrients are for different points of the plant's life. So this is actually, like I said, N, P, and K. N, that's going to be nitrogen, leafy growth. I think like lots of leaves, and these have a lot of leaves, so we're definitely going to need a lot of that. P is going to be, I believe that's fruit development. So like in this case, really the only fruiting in the technical term is going to be the peas.
Okay.
But it's the plants still need that. Even lettuce needs that.
Okay.
And then K, that's the potassium. That's going to be root development, root growth. That's really important. So you'll notice this one's really high in the 26. It's really pushing roots.
Yeah.
And so that this is going to really help the root system. But note it has a low N number. So N again is green growth nitrogen. We need that because we have a lot of leafy stuff that's pretty much all leaf. It's all green.
Right.
And so this one very high in the nitrogen. So it's actually only nitrogen. So 1500. So it has, this one's just nitrogen. So it's going to help us boost up the nitrogen content because we have a lot of leafy greens. Leafy greens need a lot of nitrogen. But I'm still going to only feed half the recommended because again, there was a little bit of fertilizer in the soil. So go ahead and take half, slip that in there. And we'll wait a second, let that dissolve. Yeah, and if you ever really want to get into it, even like it shows you a little chart here on how to feed according to what time of year it is. Because in cooler weather, plants are less demanding on the soil because of what tends to grow in a cooler season is things with more leafy greens or root crops. And the reason root crops grow on the ground during the cool season is because they need that warmth from the earth. And so they're going to be overall, when temperatures are lower, plants are feeding less. And so the chart's going to reflect that. In the summer, it shows you spring, summer, fall, winter. So different times of year, it gives you different amounts that you're going to want to feed it. Yeah. For now, I think we're okay with a half a scoop of each until we get to spring. And we plant some strawberries, or you have some Swiss chard, which is going to be a larger plant. Then we can think about switching up the feeding. But for now, a half a scoop each feeding is fine. Yeah, all right, so that's been running for a second. So we'll go back to our pH. And we're just gonna make sure that we're gonna check it one more time just to be sure that feeding the plants didn't change the pH too much.
Where will we get that pH tester?
So this stuff, you can find it at most plant stores, the hydroponic store. You got a hydroponic store down the street from here. And so, yeah, most places will carry this. It's pretty standard. And a lot of them even have the same chart. Okay. If it doesn't have that circled, maybe just make sure to circle it. But you can keep the box. The box also has a chart for you. All right, so all right, so it looks like it really had no effect on our pH as expected, but it's always good to double check. So, yeah. Perfect. All right, so we're good. We're nice. We're pH balanced. We're fed. Everything's stocked up. All right. And I think that's about it. The very last step is to simply close it up. Honestly, this is probably the hardest step of the whole thing because this thing is so the cord goes on pretty easy. The tricky part is getting this whole thing in there. Last little bit doesn't want to go. All right, let's put the cord back. Alrighty, and now we have, and it's only taking up 2 square feet. It's only about what, that's like 4.5 feet tall maybe. So in 2 square feet, the vertical height of 4.5, we're growing 28 different plants.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
That is. Wow.
You're very welcome.
Happy.